Every day we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. We're bombarded with decisions, overwhelmed by obligations, and haunted by what might have been if things had gone differently. But what if I told you that a 2,000-year-old philosophy could be the secret to clearing the clutter in your mind and finding peace in this relentless chaos? Today we're diving into the powerful teachings of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who was also a Stoic philosopher. His insights into the human spirit and the nature of the world are more relevant today than ever. By embracing Stoicism, you can transform your approach to life's challenges, turning each obstacle into a stepping stone toward greater wisdom and inner peace. Stick around to discover how ancient wisdom can provide modern solutions, helping you cultivate resilience and clarity in the midst of life's storms. This isn't just about history, it's about upgrading your mindset to thrive in today's world. If you know someone who feels lost in the noise of everyday life, share this video with them. It might just be the beacon they need. And if you appreciate what we're doing here, the simplest favor you can do for us is to hit that subscribe button. Stick with us through the entire video to fully grasp how these timeless strategies can revolutionize your way of thinking and living. Let's get started. Lesson 1: Perception shapes reality. Marcus Aurelius taught that our perceptions shape our reality more than the events themselves. It's a simple yet profound insight that holds immense power if we learn to apply it in our daily lives. Too often, we get caught up in the automatic reactions our minds have to external situations. We're stuck in traffic and instantly feel the surge of frustration. A project goes wrong at work, and we're overwhelmed with anxiety. But what if, instead of reacting mindlessly, we could take a step back and see these moments for what they truly are: opportunities for growth and self-control? Imagine being caught in traffic. Instead of letting your irritation take over, Stoicism teaches us to see this delay as a chance to practice patience. You can choose to listen to an inspiring podcast, reflect on your goals, or simply enjoy the rare pause in a busy day. By reframing the situation, what was once a source of stress becomes a moment of peace, or even productivity. Over time, practicing this shift in perception changes not just how we feel in the moment, but also how we experience life in the long run. This goes deeper than momentary frustrations. When faced with a big project that feels insurmountable, instead of drowning in stress, a Stoic would break it down into smaller, manageable parts. By focusing on one task at a time, you transform what seems like an overwhelming mountain into a series of achievable steps. This mindset not only eases anxiety, but also boosts your efficiency and overall satisfaction with the work you do. It's not about the event itself, it's about how you choose to see it and what you make of it. In applying this Stoic lesson, we gradually reshape our underlying beliefs and attitudes, moving away from passive reactivity and toward active engagement with the world. By questioning our automatic responses and training ourselves to perceive situations differently, we transform challenges into opportunities, not just for survival but for growth and wisdom. Lesson 2: Mastering emotions, not suppressing them. Controlling emotions doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing them. Instead, it's about understanding and directing those emotions in a way that serves us rather than enslaves us. Marcus Aurelius faced unimaginable pressure as emperor, but his writings reveal a man deeply committed to the practice of emotional mastery. He believed that while we cannot avoid feeling emotions like anger, fear, or disappointment, we do have the power to choose how we respond to them. Picture a moment at work when everything seems to go wrong. A project you poured your heart into gets cancelled, or a colleague unfairly criticizes your effort. Your immediate emotional reaction might be frustration, anger, or even despair. Stoicism doesn't tell you to pretend these feelings don't exist. Instead, it teaches you to take a step back and analyze them. Why do you feel this way? Is it because of the lost effort, the sudden change, or fear of the future? By dissecting your emotions, you gain a deeper understanding of yourself and your responses. This level of self-awareness allows you to regain control over your emotional state. For instance, when anger rises, rather than lashing out or letting it fester, Stoicism encourages us to pause, reflect, and choose a constructive course of action. Maybe you shift focus to finding solutions or reframe the setback as a learning experience. In this way, emotions become a source of energy and motivation, rather than a burden that drags you down. Moreover, by mastering emotions, we also maintain our integrity in difficult situations. Imagine someone harshly criticizing your work. Instead of reacting defensively or internalizing the criticism, a Stoic response would involve calmly assessing whether the critique has merit. Can you improve from it? Can you use this feedback to grow? By keeping your emotions in check, you not only preserve your mental equilibrium but also create the space for meaningful improvement. This lesson is about building resilience. It's about cultivating the strength to face life's storms without being swept away by them. Emotions aren't the enemy, our lack of control over them is. Mastering this balance is a central tenet of Stoic philosophy and key to achieving lasting peace and mental clarity. Lesson 3: The power of the dichotomy of control. One of the most liberating principles of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. It teaches us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. Once we grasp this concept, we unlock a profound sense of peace and focus, directing our energy toward what truly matters rather than wasting it on things beyond our influence. Think about the last time you faced a situation that was out of your hands, maybe a delayed flight, an unexpected cancellation, or a sudden change at work. The initial reaction is often one of frustration, stress, or anxiety. But here's the Stoic approach: if something is beyond your control, then worrying or getting upset about it serves no purpose. Instead, accept the situation as it is and shift your focus to what you can control: your response. You can't change the delayed flight, but you can choose how you spend that extra time. You can't control external circumstances, but you can control how you react to them. In relationships, the dichotomy of control becomes even more valuable. You can't force someone else to change their behavior or feelings, but you can control how you respond. You can choose to act with compassion, understanding, and integrity, even when others might not. This shift in perspective frees you from the emotional burden of trying to control the uncontrollable. It empowers you to focus on your own actions, which are always within your domain. In practice, the dichotomy of control reduces stress and enhances your effectiveness in both personal and professional life. By focusing on what you can influence, like your actions, your decisions, and your mindset, you become more efficient, resilient, and peaceful. Accepting the limits of control isn't about giving up. It's about channeling your energy where it will have the most impact. This simple yet profound idea is a cornerstone of Stoic wisdom and a guide to living a more empowered life. Lesson 4: Voluntary discomfort builds strength. One of the core practices of Stoicism is the concept of voluntary discomfort, which means deliberately exposing ourselves to challenges, discomforts, or even small adversities to toughen our spirit and build resilience. Marcus Aurelius, like many other Stoic philosophers, practiced this by living simply despite his emperor status. He was known to forgo luxuries, endure the cold, or deny himself unnecessary pleasures. The idea is that by regularly experiencing discomfort in controlled situations, we develop mental strength to handle life's inevitable hardships. Consider a modern example. Many people today practice intermittent fasting, not just for health reasons, but to train their minds and bodies to resist indulgence. This practice builds both discipline and gratitude. Similarly, taking cold showers, spending a weekend without technology, or sleeping on the floor instead of a bed for a night can cultivate resilience. By choosing discomfort in these small ways, you prepare yourself for bigger challenges. When the unexpected happens, a job loss, a personal betrayal, or a health crisis, you've already strengthened your mind to withstand hardship. Consider a modern example. Many people today practice intermittent fasting, not just for health reasons, but to train their minds and bodies to resist indulgence. This practice builds both discipline and gratitude. Similarly, taking cold showers, spending a weekend without technology, or sleeping on the floor instead of a bed for a night can cultivate resilience. By choosing discomfort in these small ways, you prepare yourself for bigger challenges. When the unexpected happens, a job loss, a personal betrayal, or a health crisis, you've already strengthened your mind to withstand hardship. Voluntary discomfort sharpens our focus and makes us appreciate the good in our lives. It also shows us that we can endure more than we think. It's a way of inoculating ourselves against future difficulties. By practicing discomfort, we're not just waiting for adversity to strike, we're actively preparing for it, building the muscle of resilience that will allow us to thrive even in the face of life's toughest trials. Lesson 5: Living in accord with nature. For the Stoics, living in accordance with nature was not just a poetic notion, but a guiding principle for life. To them, nature represented not only the external world, but also human nature, our rational minds, our social responsibilities, and our inherent capacity for virtue. The Stoics believed that to live in harmony with the natural order was to live a life of reason, justice, and moral integrity. Imagine a river flowing downstream. If you try to swim against the current, you exhaust yourself and make little progress. But if you swim with the current, you conserve energy and move smoothly. Stoicism teaches us that life is like this river. Instead of resisting the inevitable changes and challenges life brings, we should learn to align ourselves with them and adapt accordingly. Whether it's aging, loss, or uncertainty, these are natural parts of life, and accepting them makes us stronger. Living in accordance with nature also means recognizing that we are part of a larger whole society. It reminds us of our duty to others and encourages us to act with justice and fairness. When you make decisions that benefit not just yourself but the broader community, you are living in accordance with nature. Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from fulfilling our roles in the world with virtue and wisdom, rather than seeking fleeting pleasures or avoiding discomfort. Lesson 6. Amor Fati, loving fate. One of the most radical ideas in Stoic philosophy is the concept of amor fati, which translates to love of fate. It's not just about accepting what happens to you, but embracing it fully, even the difficult and painful moments. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on this idea in his writings, reminding himself to welcome all that life brings, even when it seems harsh or unfair. Picture a time when you were faced with a significant challenge, perhaps the loss of a job, a breakup, or a failure that felt devastating. Instead of resisting the pain or wishing things were different, amor fati teaches you to love what has happened. Because every event, good or bad, is a part of your journey, it shapes who you are and helps you grow. By embracing fate, you free yourself from the burden of regret, resentment, and what-ifs. Instead, you turn your energy toward making the most of the present moment and using every experience as fuel for personal development. This mindset doesn't mean passively accepting injustice or hardship. Rather, it's about seeing the potential in every situation, recognizing that even the darkest times offer lessons and opportunities for growth. When you practice amor fati, life becomes less about avoiding pain and more about transforming it into power and wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, often reflected on how virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance can profoundly shape our lives. These aren't just lofty ideals meant for philosophical debate. They are practical tools that guide our everyday actions and interactions.